So, dear ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the GLC team and Easy37 Solutions, I would like to welcome you to the 35th webinar, Fostering a Culture of Continuous Learning and Development, which will be conducted by our regular speaker and webinar participant, Adaora Ayoade. I hope many of you already know her. My name is Anna Peiko, and I will be your host today. And again, if you haven't posted in chat yet, please type your name and the country you're joining from, and maybe one expectation from today's webinar. Okay. I must remind you that this session is being recorded, and we will post the recording on the GLC webinar page in a few days, perhaps. Having said that, I hope that you had an opportunity to explore the webinar section, which has recently acquired a completely new look and feel. When sending questions or comments, please send them to everyone so that everyone can see your responses and contributions to the discussions. And as you already know, you have been muted by default when you logged in. And if you would like to join a live discussion, just raise your hand virtually and we will unmute you. We love talking to you, so please join the discussion. And of course, we would be grateful if you could share your thoughts about today's webinar. We will share the link in chat towards the end of this session. So I already introduced this tool last time, so I apologize to those of you who already know about this tool, but I see that we have lots of new participants as well as old participants. So let me just very quickly talk about the GLC self-assessment tool that our team developed for training professionals such as yourself. So we encourage you to take this tool. It's a self-assessment tool. You can take it completely free of charge, no strings attached. So the tool is organized around 7 phases of the training project lifecycle. And these 7 phases include partnering with clients, which you can see now in the center of the competency wheel. Once you partner with a client, you move on to the next stage, which is assessing performance needs. Once you assess performance needs, you move on to the next stage, which is designing curriculum, and so on and so forth, which ends with evaluating learning. So this is what we call the training project lifecycle. So the tool that I would like to introduce you was actually designed to help you analyze your performance, identify your strengths and competency gaps, and improve your performance during each phase of the training project lifecycle. So this tool is available in English and in French, and you will receive the results on the screen by email and as a PDF report. And the feedback that you will receive will be overall feedback. It will also be organized by section or by wedge of the training project lifecycle, and you will receive feedback in response to each question that you will answer in that self-assessment tool. So I will share the link to that tool in chat, probably toward the end of the webinar, so we don't disrupt the flow, okay? If you have not signed up yet, the annual Learning and Development Conference is just around the corner. The organizers have lined up many speakers, many amazing speakers. Many of them are actually GLC training professionals. So don't miss this opportunity. The conference is only conducted once a year. This year, it will be conducted on September 15th, so in about a week from now. So get together with like-minded individuals, attend sessions, and build the sustainable future of Africa together. And if you're not from Africa, and I know that we also have participants from other parts of the world, no big deal. So join the conference and learn from Africa's experience so you can extrapolate it to the regions where you live, okay? So Adaora Ayoade, our today's speaker, is inviting you to attend the training session, Facilitating Learning Online and in Person. And this training will be conducted on Tuesdays and Fridays. And from what I know, Adaora will be offering a discount to those of you who are attending today's webinar. So if you're interested in becoming a trainer or improving your skills as a trainer, because this session is not only for novice trainers, but also for experienced trainers. So definitely consider joining Adaora on September 22nd. The same training will be offered by our other master trainer, Saram Binji. Her training will start in October 18th. If you live in Kenya, you're invited to join the in-person training of trainers in November. This session will be offered by Esther Macharia. And I know that in our GLC training community, there is a strong interest in becoming coaches. So if you are still contemplating that idea, definitely join Adaura's Level 1 Virtual Coach Certification Program, which is kicking off on October 8th, to be more precise. If you're interested in becoming certified online learning facilitator, our master trainer, Margaret Jackson, is inviting you to join her for the COLF program in October. And if you would like to improve online delivery skills, then definitely join Margaret in September. So with that, I would like to welcome back Adaora Ayuade. This is not her first webinar, so Adaora, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and knowledge with the GLC training community. Many of you already know that Adaora is an executive and leadership coach, and she is the CEO of Easy37 Solutions. It's actually a terrific company, and it's such a pleasure to work with the whole team from Easy37 Solutions. So I would like to thank them all for always being on top of the game. Adaora is a professional certified coach. She is also the immediate past president and board member of the Nigeria chapter of the International Coaching Federation. Adaora has more than 20 years of experience in facilitation, team development, and coaching. And above all, of course, she is an IFC certified master trainer. So this is the highest status that you can achieve within our program. She is also an IFC LPI trainer and assessor. And there is no better person to learn from about continuous learning and development than Adaora. Adaora, the floor is yours. Welcome back.
Thank you very much, Anna, for that amazing introduction. And I want to say a very warm welcome to everyone who is here today for investing your time into this webinar. I'm sure that you're going to leave really empowered to go forward and make some transformational changes personally and professionally. All right. So for those who have put in the chat box where they're joining from, thank you very much. For those who have not yet told us where they're joining from, please do. And depending on what part of the world you're joining from, I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So what do we want in terms of the norms of engagement for us to really go on this learning journey together today? First of all, please bring a positive mood. Please bring a positive mood. You know, the brain will, secrete some really good chemicals when we have a positive mood. So please, can you just look for the emoji icon on your laptop and either give a heart, give a thumbs up, give a smiley, let us know that you are here, fully present. And so let us just feel your energy at this time. Thank you so very much. What else are we asking for? Thank you so much. We're also asking for you to come with an open mind. And please be ready to share so that everyone learns. You know, it's interesting. If I have an apple and you have an apple and we exchange it, we still both have an apple. But if I have an idea and you have an idea and we exchange ideas, then we both have two ideas. How much more the number of us in this space? If we exchange and rub minds and share our ideas, we'll all leave with a nice pack at the end of the day. So please be ready to share so that we can all learn. I am a facilitator, not here to say I'm training you. If you want to speak, Anna has already said that you should please just raise your hand. Thank you. So what are we looking at today? We're looking at the topic of fostering a culture of continuous learning and development. I'm sure you all know that with the advances in technology, with the shifts in demography and the competitiveness of the organization's business landscape, there is so much need to upgrade workforce skills. And so we have to continuously learn. Isn't it interesting that when we were born, We learned how to walk. Well, we first of all learned how to crawl, I'd assume, and then to walk, and then to talk. And then we went to primary school, secondary school, university. Some of us have got masters, some have got PhDs. We've been learning continuously. And so even now in our various careers or our businesses, wherever we find ourselves, there's still the need to foster a culture of continuous learning and development. It just never ends. So let's have a look at who we have with us today. Whether you're a learning professional, whether you're a manager, whether you're a CEO, we want to know who we have with us today. So we're going to take a poll and would like you to participate in this poll to share with us what category you fall into so we can just know who we have with us in the house today. So thank you very much, Julia, for launching the poll. And I'd like to ask, I can see the reaction, the responses coming in. So your relationship with coaching, are you a training professional? Okay, I can see some responses there. I teach an occasional coaching course. Okay, I can see some there as well. I'm the CEO. All right, I can see some there as well. And I'm just interested in this webinar. Okay, that's fine. All right, so we have a nice mix. We have a nice mix here. We have a nice mix. So I think it's fine to end the poll at this time. And I want to assure you that you're in the right place because whatever category you fall into, there's something you're going to learn and something a lot you're going to take away from today's webinar. So thank you. Thank you so much for giving us an idea of who's with us here today for this exciting journey we're going to go on. All right, so I'm going to close the poll right away. Beautiful. Let's do an icebreaker. Okay, we're always finding solutions in life, personally, professionally, we're always finding solutions. So let's get the solution to this icebreaker. And so I'm going to ask that you should please put your answer in the chat box. And the question is, what's the number of the parking space covered by the blue car? You can see the car there, and you can see the numbers in all the other parking spaces. So what's that number that the car is covering? Could you please put your answer in the chat box? Okay, I am not seeing everyone's message. Okay, I think let's have a look. What do we have? What number do you see? What number do you see? Do you think is covered? Okay, I'm seeing 87. 87. All right, I'm seeing 87. Okay, final answer. Going, going. All right, let's go to the next slide and see if anything changes. Any changes to your answers? Any changes to your answers? Nothing. Okay, somebody had said a 58. Ah, Ugochi 58. Well, the interesting thing is, if you did select 87, you were spot on. So, you know, I must let you know, I like acknowledgement. Please, can you just acknowledge yourselves? Acknowledge yourselves with an emoji if you had selected 87, because that's correct. And you know what's interesting? Thank you. Thank you so much. What's interesting is that, you know, sometimes in life, you know, we think that the answers to a situation is so complex. It may just be a case of just looking within. And you may be in an organization and you're having some challenges and you're thinking, you know what, sales are dropping. It's because, you know, let's go and look at the economic trends. Let's get in more of this. Let's change our strategy. It may just be a simple case of training your people or training yourself or improving your learning and development in a specific area. So this is a very simple exercise. And the idea here was just to look at things from another perspective, another angle. What's our journey going to be like today? Now, in terms of our content and objectives, we have 4 major content areas and 4 objectives for each of them. The first content area is we want to look at the benefits of continuous learning and development. And when we look at the benefits, the objective of that is so that we can explain the impact of a continuous learning culture on our individual and organizational growth. We need to be able to explain at the end of today's session what is the impact. The second content area we're going to look at are the strategies for implementing a culture of continuous learning. And what do we want to be able to achieve by looking at that content area? It is so that at the end of today's webinar, we can actually list some best practices for designing and implementing effective continuous learning and development initiatives. Going on to the third content area, which are the tools and resources for continuous learning. We want to be able to describe tools to empower employees at all levels to take ownership of their ongoing professional development journey. And you're going to find out that this is the way to go. We need employees to take ownership. Learning and development professionals here, you don't have to keep doing all the heavy lifting. Okay, we're going to find tools to empower them. And then, last and not the least, we're also going to look at the challenges to building a learning culture, because we do know that in order to do this, it's not without some challenges. But then let's also identify those challenges and the resistance to change while instilling a culture of continuous learning, but then also look at what are the solutions to be able to, get past such challenges. So, we started off with me asking you to please be ready to share. So I'm going to ask, in your opinion, what is continuous learning? When we say continuous learning, what is it? I really like how Anna introduced me and said I'm a coach. What is it about coaches? We're open-minded, we're non-judgmental, and so we come here ready to receive what it is you want to share. So please put in the chat box, what's your view of continuous learning? I'm giving us a moment to capture our feedback in your own words. Continuous learning or lifelong learning, what does it refer to? So I haven't gotten any responses in the chat box. So it could be that you are still typing or you'd prefer to speak, in which case you can raise your hand. But I really want to sort of see what's our understanding of this concept before we even take a dive into it.
There are responses started coming, but I believe yes, it takes some time to chat. I mean to type the answer.
Okay.
So thank you
Thank
so
you,
much for
Anna.
those of
So,
you. Yeah.
all right. So if you see the response before I do, Anna, please do let me know.
Okay, I will read. So Charika says, staying current and updated, going beyond my own comfort zone. Oluwaseun
Thank you.
says, continuous learning is the ongoing expansion of knowledge and skill sets. Sandra says, learning that never ends. She stressed never. You should never stop learning because when you stop, you start dying. Ibitayo says, continuous learning means not to stop acquiring skills and knowledge as far as we are breathing or living. Also, continuous learning means not to stop acquiring skills and knowledge. Okay, oh, sorry, I think I read this one. Katie says, knowledge updated, ongoing learning, having a curious mind, prioritizing learning and improvement. Adriana says, continuous learning is a process of learning skills and knowledge then unlearn to learn again and again. That's a good point. Um, Constantly updating our knowledge, lots of responses. I think all of them are
Beautiful,
correct.
beautiful.
Adora, do you want me to continue?
Yeah, no, they're all correct. We're on the same page. We're in the right space. And I'm sure that one person would have gotten something from another person's responses. Anna, thank you so much. And thank you so much to everyone who has, shared in the chat box what you understand by continuous learning. I like some of the expressions, if I should use that we use. When you stop learning, you start dying. Well, really, when you stop learning, you start retrogressing. So as far as you're alive, you need to keep learning. So what is it? So you're all correct. And it really involves a deliberate and a proactive effort to expand your understanding, to stay current with the development in one's field and even outside of one's field, and really adapt to the changing circumstances and advancements. Because there's so many advancements. In fact, advancements are occurring at such a fast pace that to even stay abreast of them is a challenge. So you can imagine if you don't even try. So one thing we also should, you know, bear in mind is when we're thinking of continuous learning, it's not limited to formal education. Okay, so it encompasses a wide range of learning activities, which could be formal and could also be informal, which will contribute to your personal and your professional development. So do you believe you engage in continuous learning in your organization? Do you believe you engage in professional learning as an individual? From the responses I saw earlier, it sounds like you all have bought into the concept and really recognize the importance of it. So I'm going to share with us a model. And this model is the Burson model. It's a Burson by Deloitte continuous learning model. Please stay with me as we go on this journey together. There's so much going on the screen, but let's start by looking at the axis, the X and Y axis. You can see that one, you go from novice to specialist, and the other one looks at the time frame. Okay. Now let's look within the green area. You can see that this is traditional training within the green area, that green shaded area. And you can see here that there is a rise from novice going up as if to specialist. But then what happens? It begins to decline. It begins to retrogress. That's what happens with traditional training. Now, what is useful about this model is that it allows stakeholders, workers, line managers, L&D professionals, talent management, everyone to take stock of available activities, and then tailor your learning and development opportunities based on your own interests as well as the business needs. Now, what are some of those activities I'm referring to here? You can see them there. Job aids, e-learning courses, coaching on mentoring, career curriculum, communities of learning, social networking, mobile learning. So you can have a wide variety of activities based on interest, based on need, based on learning styles that people can, type into. So what's the aim? So the aim really is that we maintain, we bolster, and we reinforce employees' learning and skills over time. It's not a start and then stop, like we saw in the green shaded area. The blue shaded area is really where we want to be. We want to be providing regular opportunities so we can become specialists. Do you know what? You never really become an expert. The minute you think you're an expert, something new comes out. A new idea comes out, new development comes out. So, but by continuously keeping abreast and reinforcing with different approaches, if you're part of a community of practice, you could be an area or a field of interest. Somebody brings an idea, another person brings a new development, another person brings a trend, and you're continuously updating yourself. Now, I need to let us know that with traditional learning, what happens is that, in fact, within almost a year, the knowledge begins to fade. So beyond you becoming stagnant, you're going to forget it. You're going to forget even the knowledge you've acquired. So you really need to shift a mindset from that traditional learning. Okay, yes, I went to a course. I went on a course in January. And you know what? I feel I've acquired what I need. Well, guess what? That's good. Go for the course in January, but throughout the year, throughout the months, throughout the weeks, you can still be engaging in continuous learning and development. And really, that is the point that we really, really want to drive home as we look at this model. And so, what are some of the learning experiences that you are aware of that fosters continuous learning, even beyond what you can see on the screen? We had an agreement in principle that we're going to share learning. So please, can you put in the chat box, what are some of the learning experiences that you are aware of that can foster continuous learning? Please, let's get some feedback on that. Beyond what Deloitte have actually shared with us here. Let's see what you have. Okay, thank you, Evie. Evie, is this a new one or is this an old one? I can just, so I'm trying to really look at the, okay, no, this was from before. Thank you so much. So let's see any new ideas that have been put forward. And so the question is, what are some of the learning experiences that you are aware of that can foster continuous learning? We've already said it is critical, it is important. We've spoken about how it can support you to keep growing, keep learning. So what else are you aware of, or do you do that is a means of fostering continuous learning and development? Job rotation. Thank you very much, Abigail. Absolutely. Adepeju, thank you very much. Reading. Amazing. Because, it doesn't have to be so complex, just as we did with our icebreaker. Hey, just flip it over and think about it. It could be something we're so familiar with. Reading. Absolutely. Adriano says engagement with colleagues and experts. Thank you, Adriano, for that. Absolutely. Spot on. So, this is just to really get us in the, in the mode of thinking that there are so many ways that we can continuously learn. So let's proceed. So what is a learning culture? Now, when you have continuous learning and you have a learning culture, we're talking about bringing that continuous learning into our way of being, our way of operating. And research has indicated that the existence of a learning culture is linked to a higher level of job satisfaction and productivity among employees. And of course, what does this do? It increases job satisfaction. It can lead to commitment to the organization's short, medium, and long-term goals. So there is a lot of benefit for having a learning culture. And so we really want to see what some of those are, because we really want to foster that. We want to foster a learning culture. So, in your opinion, what do you think are some of the benefits, whether it's to an individual, to you personally, or any individual, whether it's to a team that you're part of or that you know of, or whether it's to an organization? What are the benefits? Please, can you put in the chat box, in line with our agreement that we're going to share, because it shows we care about this topic? What are some of the benefits of fostering a continuous learning culture? Okay, so let's have a look. So high performance, absolutely. Thank you. In fact, I was in a meeting, a couple of days ago, and somebody was just really just showing all the data that really links. That it's like two sides of a coin. On one side, you have performance, high performance, and on another side of that coin, you have learning and development. So imagine if you foster that, you're fostering high performance, business continuity. Thank you very much, Habiba. Absolutely spot on. So let's see. Atinuka says, and I want to make sure that I'm not skipping anybody. And if I am, then Anna, I'm really going to really lean into you to make sure. Okay, so I saw that I think that book club was from Tayo earlier. Thank you, Tayo. Um, Agatha. Okay, that was ideas of how to foster it. Brilliant. All right. So we're looking at benefits, reviewing past failures to learn. Okay, that was from the earlier question. Habiba says business continuity. Daniel says high performance. Adriano says increased innovation and performance. Absolutely. In the times that we're in, innovation, we need it. We just need it because there was a saying that if you don't change, you'll be changed. We are not going to be changed. So we need to innovate. Okay, Jeff Fat, please forgive me if I didn't pronounce your name properly, but your answer is spot on. Some of the benefits is that you have new ways to problem solve. Absolutely. Again, Habiba says knowledge and skills are retained by the organization, even when there's staff turnover. Habiba, thank you so much. In this time of great resignation, and in Nigeria, we say jackpieism. We really need to retain knowledge, and so it's so important to have that captured, that knowledge, that intellectual power, as the case may be. We really don't want that to be lost within the organization. So thank you, Atinuka. You said thriving environment with innovative ideas and problem solving. Oluwaseun talks about the benefits to boost the brain's performance. Absolutely. Spot on. Adedeji says acquiring skills that aid productivity on the job. There's so many benefits. Thank you. Tayo, you're spot on. Absolutely enhances productivity. Adepeju says enhances organizational capabilities. So many benefits. So many benefits. And so this is something that, if we did like a survey of how many of us are engaging in this, I would love to see the results because we can see there's so many benefits. And see, to the individual, this came up in your responses. It builds our brain muscles with continuous learning, which opens up new and stronger connection. So many times people think, oh, my brain, this is the size of my brain. This is what my brain capacity can cope with. Guess what? Our brains are expanding in terms of capacity of what it can retain. And so we can continue to build new neural pathways when we learn. What are we doing? We're connecting the knowledge we have with a new knowledge and building new neural pathways, expanding our capacity. And so there's so many benefits. And so, you've really um, hit the nail on the head with them. Now, another thing is that, in fact, when you think about career development, it helps boost career development. Cultural and social awareness, it helps boost that. Providing a sense of purpose, absolutely, it helps with that. Enhanced creativity. I saw innovation earlier that someone had put in the chat box. Enhanced creativity, yes, and it raises your confidence. But guess what? It also, imagine the fact that it can even help with longevity. In other words, your brain stays healthier longer. So there's so many benefits for the individual. So let's look at what Earl Nightingale says. Earl Nightingale says that 1 hour per day of study, 1 hour per day of study in your chosen field, all it takes. I know some of us, maybe a couple of times a week, we may get inspired, do a couple of hours and drop it. But he's saying 1 hour per day, consistently, will put you at the top of your field within 3 years. If we can do this consistently for 5 years, bear with me, the light will come on very shortly. If you can do that, can I just check that you can still hear me, even if you can't see me? Can you hear me? Hello? Oh, thank you, Anna. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Okay. All right. If you can do this consistently for 5 years, you'll be a national authority. What about 7 years? You'll be one of the best people in the world at what you do. Thank you. So this is key. And who is he? This is an American author. He was considered to be the dean of personal development. The dean of personal development. And he's saying this. So this is a challenge to us, a challenge to me. Can we consistently carve out 1 hour a day to be able to achieve this? What about for organizations and even teams? If your goal as an organization is to retain employees, then fostering a culture of learning and development is the way to go. And the data that you can see on the screen, this is from a 2020 workforce report by LinkedIn, that says that 94% of employees would stay longer, and 80% of employees find that they're more engaged when their organizations have a learning culture. In addition, a recent report by Deloitte also shares that high-performing learning organizations are 92% more likely to innovate. So if you're learning, you're getting ideas, you're becoming more creative, you're becoming more innovative, people feel excited, creative juices are flowing, ideas are being generated. And guess what? 46%, you can see market visibility there. 46% of such organizations or teams are likely to be first to market. So, with this data, we would expect that most organizations would have this and would be doing this. But guess what? There's research by the Learning Wave that says that 74% of employees report that they feel that they're not meeting their full potential due to a lack of developmental opportunities at work, which means that organizations have a lot of work to do. We all have a lot of work to do so that we can ensure we have this competitive edge, both in terms of the market share that we want to capture and employees we want to engage, motivate, retain. So this really is very, very key. Now, what are some strategies to implementing a culture of continuous learning and development? So we've talked about the benefits. Now we want to look at the strategies to doing this. And of course, my list is not exhaustive. And as I said, we have a deal, remember? We're going to share because we care. So I'm going to share some strategies. And of course, I'm going to be expecting that you are also going to be contributing. In fact, let's put in our comments in the chat box. Even before I put up my screen, let's put in some comments in the chat box. What do you consider to be some strategies to implementing a culture of continuous learning and development? What are some strategies? Please, let's have that coming in. Let's have that coming in. What are you doing? What are the strategies that you're doing that's working for you as an individual or as an organization? Please go ahead and share with us. We share because we care. Okay, somebody has their finger on the buzzer, and I just really want to just acknowledge and appreciate you, Habiba. Almost as if, before we finish the question, the answers are coming in. Weekly knowledge sharing sessions led by team members. Exactly. This is even within the organization, within the team. You're not even calling for people from outside in this case. Weekly knowledge sharing sessions led by team members. Absolutely. Adequate, thank you. Learning should not be seen as a cost, but as an investment. Guess what? Mindset. Oh, this is profound. This is profound. Thank you. Mindset. Oh yeah, please. Aviva, you deserve it. How do you view learning? Do you see it as a cost item or an investment item? It is an investment. Absolutely. Thank you for that. Atinuke said setting clear learning objectives. Absolutely. It has to be tied to objectives. What are the objectives of the business? What are the objectives of the team? What are the objectives of the individual? Hey, if we have that, it will be critical important. All right. Ivie says learning sessions. Thank you, Ivie. Absolutely. That's a really, really good strategy as well. Fireside chats with leaders and subject matter experts. Spot on. Adriano says build and share values. Thank you. What are your values? Isn't it interesting, Adriano? Some organizations just have their values on the wall. You walk in, you walk past them, and they don't even know, they've not even embedded them or imbibed them as a culture. So please build and share your values and provide conditions as well for that to be embraced. Amena says training sessions based on need identified by the team members. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. I mean, I hope I'm pronouncing your name properly, but I'm hoping when we get to Q&A, you will unmute and you will introduce yourself and we'll hear your name properly, because these are really, really great points that you're um, putting forward here based on need identified by the team members. Hey, my organization may say I need some particular course, but I may also feel I have another need. So as a team member, it will be good for me to also be able to own my learning journey as well. Ibitayo says cascade sessions on various topics to be facilitated by employees. Spot on, Ibitayo. Thank you for that. Tarika says create a culture of learning and leaders to influence and share their habits. Thank you. Brilliant. Sukomi, I can see yours, book reviews and knowledge sharing session. You can see knowledge sharing sessions coming up again. And then book reviews. Book reviews, powerful. Isn't it interesting? You've all read a particular book. You've all read a particular chapter. But when it comes to doing the reviews, you're getting new insights from somebody else that read the same book, the same chapter. You're thinking, I didn't catch that, Rev. So please, book reviews are fantastic. Adedeji says monthly reading list. Brilliant ideas. Abiba says annual training plan for the organization led by HR. Beautiful. So as an organization for the year, what's your plan? Then you have in-house trainings, you have external training, you have conferences, discussion groups, and book clubs. However, we have to hear your voice today. This is just amazing. Product and service learning sessions led by land managers. Absolutely. I don't know, Anna, should I continue with this webinar? The participants have got it jammed down packed, you know? So
I know we have a very
they're
sophisticated
absolutely
audience.
very sophisticated, really on the ball. And you know what? I just applaud them because, we said that if you share, it means you care. So it shows the kind of people they're sophisticated and they're caring. So I really applaud them all. Thank you. Okay. So, you really said it all. Recognize that employee learners, they really are in the driver's seat. And so, as a team member, I also want to have an input into my learning. So beyond just, pushing learning my way and saying this is what you should do, we need to think deeply about the user experience. When we're thinking about the company's learning offerings, we need to be viewed as customers to be satisfied rather than students to be pressured into traditional learning classrooms. So that's the first point I got there. Second one says become comfortable with the shift from push to pull. Hey, what am I talking about there? So, switching from a content centric approach to a learner centric pull approach. So, what does this mean? Somebody said, was talking about mindset earlier, and that's so key. I think I did create you. So giving up full control over learning content, learning schedules, and platforms. So trying to give up that is the only way to go, but also embracing the shifts that some of you have shared here today. I was I was coaching a client, and we were talking about some of the challenges he was having in the workplace. And would you believe that one of the challenges this person raised was learning? He said, well, he actually said training. He said, our learning manager is always sending us on courses we don't need. It's like our learning manager just wants to take trained, trained, trained. This was a challenge. So, it really goes, beyond just pushing content my way, courses my way, trainings my way. Hey, how can we engage and ensure that there's not just this, push effect? Then, of course, technology. The days that we're in now, this is the best time to be alive. This is the best time to be alive because we can use technology to really drive our learning. We can really on the go, we can learn. We have mobile platforms, social platforms, web-based platforms, and this can deliver on-demand learning content. They have all those capabilities. So how are you leveraging them? Because even the best systems can now be integrated into any type of digital content and learners can access them. Yeah. So companies are now investing in a lot of these um, systems and tools. Okay, you can build your own or you can buy off the shelf. There's so many. I was talking to someone again the other day, and he was telling me about something called Degreed, a platform that they have where once a quarter you just go on Degreed, pick whatever it is you want to learn, and you can whether integrate it with on your mobile app and just be on the go learning. So many of such opportunities exist. Then we have realign and re-engage. So this came up in your feedback, so thank you so much. Now, HR and learning leaders must align the learning function with the business needs and goals. So that's why I said you can do your training. Oh, okay, January doing a training or December we're doing a training. All we're asking, all of us, is reinforce, reinforce, reinforce with a whole range of different learning activities based on my learning style, based on my learning needs. But of course, we mustn't lose sight of the fact that we have to realign and we have to re-engage with HR and with the business needs and the business goals. All right. So, so yes, we want to do what inspires and motivates us, but we can't. The business has to be in business, huh? We need to realign and ensure that we do this because it's very key. Then, adopt a learning architecture that supports an expanded vision for continuous learning and development. What are we talking about here? So you need to rethink what development means in the context of the organization. And that's why I applaud, I celebrate, I acknowledge, I affirm everyone who was sharing ideas earlier. Because we need to really rethink what does development need. I was so happy to see knowledge sharing sessions, book reviews, calling subject matter experts, all of that. And if you don't have that vision yet, then we need to adopt one. We need to communicate one that this is what learning means. This is what development needs. We need dedicated resources. We need to set expectations, and we need to align the corporate culture with the goal of enabling employees to get the learning they need when they need it at every stage of their careers. So thank you for everyone who was busy sharing with us all those different ideas. Ooh, I feel like I've been hearing my voice too much. What are some key elements of a learning culture? Let's take a poll. What do you consider to be the key elements of a learning culture? So we have a few thoughts. These are not exhaustive, but let's even see in your own view, which of these or more, one, two, three, four, as the case may be, do you consider to be key elements of a learning culture? So Yulia, thank you so much for your support with launching the poll. I just want to check that we can see our poll. Please, if I missed your comment in the chat box, please do forgive me. I'm actually seeing some really good ones now. Just must have come in later. All right, can we see the poll? I cannot see the poll. Just want to oh yes, brilliant. It's come up. Thank you. All right, so let's see what we consider. So leadership support is one, integrating with performance management is another, aligned learning objectives. Okay, thank you. Your responses are coming in. Responses are coming in. I'll give us about 18 more seconds. 18 more seconds. This is not a webinar where you want to multitask. You want to be involved. Lend your voice. Share because you care. So let's get you voting in this poll, please. Thank you. Super. Okay. Now, okay, let's have a look at what the responses are like. I wish they were going to show up on my screen the way I want to see them. Let's have a look now. So I'm not getting percent. Okay, let me close the poll and see. All right, let's have a look. All right, so I can see that, okay, 16 people said leadership buy-in, 6 said integration with performance management, 5 talked about the alignment, another 5 said open communication. So brilliant. Thank you all for participating in that. Well, guess what? all of the answers are correct. All of them are key elements of a learning culture. We need the leadership buy-in and support. We definitely do. Can you imagine if leadership did not buy in? Somebody would be on their, doing their course, maybe online, and they say, "What are you doing? Is this the time to learn?" So if leaders have that support, if they support this initiative of having a learning culture and we have their buy-in, then they will support it. They'll even say, okay, you know what, let's use maybe 30 minutes on Fridays or whatever the case may be that can work. Guess what? Yes, we're going to um, encourage knowledge sharing sessions. We're going to do book reviews once a month. We're going to do all those brilliant ideas that you actually shared. Once you have leaders to buy into it, then it becomes, part and parcel of our existence within the organization, if I should put it that way. Now, when you integrate with performance management, it is key because that way, nobody, if your performance ratings are, say, maximum rating of 5, nobody will get a 5 if they did not do any learning and development within a period. So please, we need to integrate it with our performance management. It's key. And we said it earlier, it has to be aligned. There must be aligned learning objectives, right? So what are the objectives of the organization, of the team, and we align it. And then, of course, open communication. People should feel very comfortable to be able to speak about their needs, as the case may be. Okay, so now I'd like us to just look very briefly at a couple of case studies. And I know a number of us know Google, okay? A lot of us, Google is your friend before ChatGPT now came in as a rival. But Google, we know, is one of the most innovative IT companies in the world. In addition to that, they have this certification that's one of the highest paying certifications in the world as well. So guess what? A lot of people want to know about Google. How are Google the top rated, one of the top rated companies in the world? Well, guess what? They have a number of policies around learning and development. For instance, they have a 20% time policy that permits employees to allocate 20% of their working hours to personal projects. And of course, this does what you spoke about. It stimulates innovation within the employees. And they also have what you call a Google University, and they provide access to courses and workshops. And because they are so invested in learning and development, a number of the new um, Google Suite products came as a result of the innovative ideas from members of their staff. And I also, came across something that they call their Grow Learning platform, and it says that they have this personalized learning everywhere through technology. Google actually has, you know, so many employees all over the world, about 60,000 employees all over the world. So what do? They utilize technology. They leverage on technology to get the learning resources to all their Googlers. They call the members of their team Googlers. So they leverage on technology, so the Googlers can find courses, they can get one-on-one advice, um, and based on the data that Google keeps on the Googlers. So Google knows who their employees are, and so they can obviously provide courses and resources and tools and help desks and all sorts of different opportunities on this personalized learning everywhere platform. But guess what? In addition to the Grow Learning platform, no, not in addition to the Grow Learning platform, the Grow Learning platform is what is called Grow Learning Admin. Now, in this Grow Learning Admin, it's an easy interface that allows employees to contribute and share resources and other learning opportunities throughout the organization. So beyond just learning or head of learning, please, if you're head of learning on this webinar, like I said earlier, don't do all the heavy lifting. Create a platform. Employees can also share content on the platform. That's what Google is doing. So what happened was, a few years ago, they had 1,700 employees had contributed 6,000 learning resources. 6,000 learning resources. So that's a fantastic opportunity. So that's just a little bit about Google, and the fact that their learning culture has made them one of the top companies in the world. And of course, they boast of heightened productivity, loyalty, and all the things that you all shared earlier. But Google is a large organization, multinational. And of course, if you do your research on case studies of the Googles of this world, MasterCards, Intel, the UN, all these organizations, yes, it's expected, huh? Probably. But guess what? EZ37 Solutions is our second case study. I want to talk about this organization, my organization that I work with, because even as an SME, we are very committed to learning and development. And so we run this culture of continuous learning through our organization. And of course, it has proven to be so beneficial to us as a business. So, who are we? Anna introduced us earlier. And I want to share that EZ37 Solution is one of the only two organizations in Nigeria that's an indigenous ICF accredited coach training institution. What does this mean? Who is ICF? ICF are the leading and largest body of professional coaches globally. We've been accredited because we've been doing continuous learning and development within the organization to raise the bar so that people within the team can support in having such a high standard school or learning institution, as the case may be. What else do we do? So, because of that, we offer certification programs in coaching and, of course, facilitating learning. But guess what? About a year ago or so, the regional team of the International Coaching Federation reached out to Nigeria to say, we need coaches who are under 30 years of age. We have a special project and program and offering. We were looking for coaches globally who are less than 30 years of age. Guess what? In Nigeria, it was only EZ37 Solutions that could provide three. In fact, at that time we had four. So three of our coaches under 30 years of age qualified as coaches who are under 30. Other organizations were probably thinking, you're too young to invest so much in you or whatever. I don't know. So we're very proud of that. We have subscriptions that we do every single day. In fact, a member of the learning team, he goes through the papers, he will even do a scan and put the highlights. If you haven't seen it, here it is. We have people who go on Nairametrics, whatever it is. But accessing current affairs, accessing information. There was a time we got a job, and this job was huge. I didn't even realize that that organization was one of the highest performing FMCG organizations at that time. It was a member of the team who said, have you seen this in the news? Have you seen this in the stock exchange? Have you seen this? I said, no. Okay, you haven't? And I was like, okay, I had my face. He said, and so we went to the organization, we did our pitch, we got the job, and we have had them as a very, very, very um, loyal client, and very profitable business we've been doing with them. Also, we consider our new employee onboarding to be very critically important. There's so much research out there that shows when new employees come in, they're trying to find their feet. Hey, who do I talk to? Am I looking silly? Am I proving to be someone you want to retain? There's a lot of uncertainty that goes on. So we pay a lot of attention to our new employee onboarding. When our employees have exams, we give them study leave. Those managers in our organizations, we give them the opportunity to have coaches. We do on-the-job learning projects, peer-to-peer learning. And then, we do these quarterly workshops where it doesn't cost us any money. It's simply a case of who are our vendors. So for instance, the recent one we had was on mental health. We subscribe to HMO for our staff. So what did we do? We reached out to our HMO organization to say, please, can you come and give a talk on mental health? And they came in and the employees loved it. So you may even have your banks that you put in your money in. Your banks are collecting your money. How much interest are you getting? Hey, your banks can come and give a talk on financial literacy, savings and investment, retirement planning. Who are you? Who are your vendors? You're giving, giving, giving. Well, let's make it give and take. Okay. And then, of course, we have peer-to-peer learning. We have, knowledge sharing sessions. And speaking of knowledge sharing sessions, the facilitating learning online and in person that Anna spoke about earlier, this is a course that can really support to be able to give, deliver learning in a way that people will learn and they will retain and they'll be able to apply. Okay, so this our top-down commitment to continuous learning has really helped EZ37 Solutions stay ahead of our competition, come up with regular and fresh ideas. I mean, we were at a presentation to a top financial institution recently, and there was myself, my partner, and one of our certified coaches who's quite young. And when we were in the middle of the presentation, the person, one of the people we were presenting to said, excuse me, Cynthia. He said, you know what? We need more engagement with our millennials. Is there any way your young certified coach can take part of this training? In other words, it's not a case of us mature people with decades and decades of experience taking center stage, taking front seat. They want even the young people to step out and, take charge. And so that really is something to think about. So our young ones are, even, if I should call them that, very confident. They come up with a lot of ideas, and it has really benefited us, and we become more productive. And even when employees leave the organization, they are ambassadors to the organization. So this has really helped us to stay and do well in business. All right. So what are some of the tools and resources for continuous learning and development? I'm going to share some here. And please feel free to add to the chat box. Of course, you have your learning management systems, and you can provide enough resources for employees here. They can learn at every point in time, easy to use portals, you have video sharing systems, employees can browse content. Please, learning management systems, it could be internal. Maybe you have an intranet, it could be external, as the case may be. And then, of course, they have access to all those courses online. As an SME, EZ37 Solutions, there's this organization called Learning HP Life. Yeah, UNIDO HP Life, Hewlett Packard, and the life stands for um, learning, I think, in something for entrepreneurs. So it's a free platform, just like Udemy, just like Coursera, just like all those courses out there. Learning initiative for entrepreneurs. Sorry about that. So yeah, so you have all of those out there that people can browse, and they can get access to instant lectures, courses, workshops, as the case may be. You are here today because you are someone who invests in your learning and development. So please, I don't know if I mentioned earlier, I like acknowledgement. So because webinars and workshops are part of continuous learning and development, and you're here today, can you please just appreciate yourself? Can we just go to the emoji and give ourselves a heart, a clap, a hands up, just something to show I'm here, I'm investing in my personal learning and development. Thank you. And if you don't want to appreciate yourself, please appreciate IFC for making this possible. Anna, Yulia, thank you. EZ37 Solutions team, shout out to you all. So everybody who has taken out the time and you've invested your time to be here, webinars and workshops are a fantastic tool for continuous learning. And IFC has these workshops, these webinars every single month. Imagine that. Then, of course, mentoring and coaching. Coaching is in my DNA. So I will preach the gospel of coaching every day, anytime. And so mentoring and coaching are also effective tools for ensuring continuous learning is done. So that's a big one. Internal knowledge sharing programs. Again, please note that you can use this. And thank you to all those who put it in the chat box earlier. This is another way to build employees. And guess what? There's some employees, before you even send them out to facilitate or make a presentation on your behalf, why don't you allow them internally to do knowledge sharing sessions? And again, I mentioned the IFC Facilitating Learning online and in-person course, or the face-to-face course. Just consider what it will provide for you to be able to facilitate learning. If you give this to provide this for your employees or for yourself, then you're able to make sure that all the learning styles are engaged, and knowledge sharing programs are actually very effective. So where are we now? How do we do this? You can create learning action plans, and you can do this for the organization and the team, or you can have an individual plan. If it's an organizational plan, and somebody said this earlier, you need to have a plan. I think it was EVA, so thumbs up if it was you. You can identify your organizational objectives, assess your current skill gap, because you need to know what the gaps are, right? So what are the training gaps? I think we had a webinar recently on this, IFC webinar on this. So you can really assess, what your skill gaps are so that you can actually identify where your priority areas are, engage your stakeholders, and of course, you must evaluate and measure. What do they say? What you don't measure, you cannot manage. So regularly assessing the effectiveness of your learning by measuring your employee performance improvements against some predefined goals. At EZ37 Solutions, guess what? We have a strategic goal box. We have the learning dimension, we have our customer dimension, we have our process dimension, we also have our learning dimension. And so we capture the data around this. So please gather feedback from participants so you can continue to make improvements. In addition, you can have your individual plan where you're setting your learning goals. There's a saying, if you aim at nothing, you hit it. So you need to have a goal, because if you don't have a goal, what do you want to hit? So you aim at a goal, you're likely to hit it. And guess what? Even if your goal post changes, your goal doesn't have to change. So set your clear learning goals, identify your learning resources, and please just break it down into small milestones. What do they say? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So we're able to do this. Now, there will be challenges. And what are they, and how do we overcome them? Things, for example, like time. For some organizations, time constraints are a major concern. So some people have found different ways to do this. Some may say we have a dedicated time where we have our knowledge sharing sessions. And because you have leadership buy-in, it makes it easier. Maybe 15 minutes Monday mornings, 30 minutes Friday afternoons, whatever can work. Lack of resources could also be considered a constraint, but a lot of you have already shared ways that you can even share resources, learning resources that will not break the bank. And I've shared some here too as well. And I think it was Adik that said, have a mindset shift. And it's an investment. It's not a cost only item. So again, line manager buy-in, and we've mentioned it earlier, measure, measure, measure. In conclusion, if knowledge is a power, guess what? Learning is a superpower. Because we heard earlier that if you just acquire the knowledge and you think you've got it, it's going to become extinct. But if you continuously learn, hey, you've got a superpower going there. So, what do we set out to achieve today? We looked at the benefits of continuous learning and development. And I said that we want to be able to explain the impact of continuous learning culture on a continuous learning culture on individual and organizational growth. Thank you for everyone who shared the different benefits, the impact. We then said we wanted to go on to look at some strategies for implementing a culture of continuous learning. And we were able to list some best practices for designing and implementing this. Again, big thank you to everyone who shared and showed that they care. We also said we're going to look at some tools and resources for continuous learning. And indeed, we're able to describe some tools to empower employees at all levels to take ownership of their ongoing professional development journey. And finally, we said we're going to look at some challenges and identify some of those challenges and resistance to change while you're doing this instilling of a continuous learning culture. What are you going to do with this knowledge? Having gone through this course and gained a deeper understanding of learning culture, I'm curious to know, what action will you be committing to as you develop a culture of continuous learning? Ooh, I'm going to pause here and hand over to you. Please, can you put it in the chat box? What do you see yourself doing, committing to, taking action on as a result of having come for this webinar? Some of you are already doing this. So this is just going to be um, reinforcement. And for some of us, we're going to make some new commitments. So what are those going to be? Whichever case it is, can we hear, get your thoughts in the chat box? I'll give us a moment to capture our thoughts, and then please share in the chat box what it is we're going to do.
In addition, if you would like to speak up, please virtually raise your hand, and I already see one hand. Ogun Kanmi. I think Hogunkami actually raised hand a little bit earlier, so we can probably unmute Hogunkami.
Thank you. Thank you, Anna.
Hogunkami, did you want to say something? Share an idea? Or was it just in error? Hogunkami, you have been unmuted if you would like to speak. Okay, I guess it was an error.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Anna. And thank you, Sandra, for the comments that you put in the chat box. I truly appreciate the feedback. And absolutely, we need to get the Gen Zs and millennials to participate actively. We can only do this by really developing them. Ivia, thank you. Ivia says, I will continue to do what we are doing and seek ways to improve current practices. Thank you for that. Sandra says, intentionally ensure that the Gen Zs are brought up to speed to become as competent, if not more competent than us, the older ones. Thank you. Guess what? I was talking to someone 2 days ago, and they said in our organization, we're not recruiting as fast as people are leaving. And we are going to have a gap very soon of really older people, and then the younger ones. We don't have that succession plan really set up yet to meet their needs. So thank you for that. Atinuka, thank you. You said prefer learning solutions to problems we are currently facing as regards knowledge sharing. Thank you. Knowledge sharing is powerful. Please go for it. Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay. Um, Sandra, it's been wonderful. Oh, thank you, Sandra. Thank you. It's been wonderful having you here too. Sharika says very inspiring and powerful. Oh, thank you, Sharika. Thank you so much. Continue what I'm doing now, more so connecting with all the benefits. Beautiful. Ibitayo says promoting book reading culture in my organization. Encourage employees to lead knowledge sharing sessions. Absolutely. You'll be amazed. People who you didn't even imagine were so loaded. They will really show you that they have a lot in there. Hetty, thank you for your feedback. Lua Sheo says reinforcing learning habits and also ensuring my goals are smart. Thank you. That way you can measure them. Thank you so much. Ehizochie, thank you. I'm pleased that you found this to listen to. Thank you very much. Sukami, oh, thank you. Wonderful. So we would like to just use this opportunity to say that you want learning to really be impactful. You want learning to be applied. You want learning to appeal to all the different learning styles. Well, guess what? The Facilitating Learning Online and In-Person course, which is a certification program of the International Finance Corporation Learning and Performance Institute, is a program that you will benefit tremendously from. It's a certification program, and we encourage you to please consider that. Also note, by virtue of you being here today, you get an automatic discount. So when you register, please mention IFC. So at this point, I'm going to hand over to Anna, and if there are any questions, I'll be very happy to take them. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for caring. Thank you for being such an amazing audience. Truly appreciate. Can you put your hands together for yourselves? Because you have been incredible. Thank you all so much. Over to you, Anna. Thank you.
Dora, you have been incredible and very inspirational. So thank you so much for refreshing all the strategies and ways that we can reinforce our knowledge. So I didn't want to interrupt the flow of, of the flow of the webinar, but I would like actually to remind you of some opportunities that are coming your way. So first of all, by all means, we would like to learn from you. We would like to learn what went well today, what did not, how we can improve. This is just one way we can do better next time. So if you could please share your feedback in SurveyMonkey, we would be very appreciative. Now, at the beginning of my introduction, I mentioned that self-assessment tool that our team developed for training professionals. And again, it's very important for you to step back, to take one step back and evaluate what you're already doing well, what are some of your skill gaps, what you can really improve. So I strongly recommend this tool. I hope that you will find it useful as well. Now, by all means, please check out the calendar of events on GLC. Every month, essentially every day, we add new events that you can benefit from. A lot of these events are free. If not, remember, it's an investment, right? I also encourage you to subscribe to our newsletters. So I promise we're not going to spam you. So you will be receiving invitations to GLC webinars such as today. It's a free opportunity for you to learn. You will be receiving other invitations as with them appropriate. So please take a look, subscribe, and you will always be in the know of the learning opportunities that you can take advantage of. And I know that some of you are attending today's webinar, the GLC webinar, for the first time. So I wanted to share that link as well. Today is our 35th webinar. These webinars are organized by IFC together with our knowledgeable, experienced, inspirational trainers, master trainers. So we have recordings of every single session that we conducted to date, and I encourage you to take advantage of this opportunity, go back, see which topics interest you, and watch them. This is just another way for you to improve your knowledge in certain areas. So again, this is completely free of charge, no strings attached. So definitely don't miss this opportunity. And as Adalora already mentioned, she will be conducting some learning sessions, the FLO, food trainers, as well as the coaching sessions. So please check out those links. And I see that Amina Hassan raised her hand, so I'm gonna unmute her. Amina, you have been unmuted. Amina, did you want to say something, add, ask a question? Okay, I guess not. All right, so with that, I think we can close today's session. So thank you once again very much for joining us today, for your contributions. We learned from you as well as Adaora, of course. So we're learning together. We're in this together. So I appreciate that you chose to spend your afternoon or evening with us. And with that, we'll close the session. I will stay online if you have any questions at all about the GLC program, certifications, training programs, anything whatsoever. So, okay, Amina has a question.